You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I am back. Rodrance for Black and White Sports. Well, we're going to talk about Brett Favre and Pat McAfee. As you guys know, Pat McAfee's got a monster podcast, and I do mean it is big. I don't know if it's quite as big as Bill Simmons' podcast, but it's flirting in that area. I know he got $20 million from FanDuel or DraftKings or something for that podcast. And Pat is on the WWE. He's on ESPN College Gameday. I don't know if he's still doing that, but he was. And then, of course, we've got the everyday working guy that just happened to be a quarterback, Brett Favre, suing Pat. He's also suing Shannon Sharpe. Now, I got to be real here. I'm a huge Brett Favre fan, but I really don't understand what Brett's trying to do here because, I just did a quick Google search on this case. There were like 300 articles come up, and everybody adding their 2 cents to how they feel about this situation, whether they're pro-Brett or against Brett or this, that, and the third. You get the point. Everybody did commentary on this thing. So it's kind of weird that they zeroed in on Shannon and Pat McAfee. I kind of don't get that. All right? Because when that story broke involving Brett, everybody talked about it. I mean, everybody. It's kind of weird. It's also weird to take a stance where it feels like somebody's saying you're just not allowed to give your 2 cents on a situation. That's kind of odd. And I don't even know what to believe involving the Brett Favre case. I don't know if he's guilty. I don't know if he was involved. I don't know if he did anything wrong. I don't know if he did anything right. I've seen some text messages that don't look great, but all that'll come out in the wash in the court. Well, Pat McAfee scored a bit of a victory against Brett Favre already because he's removed this case in a similar way that Michael Irvin, the hotel that sued that Michael Irvin is suing, dismissed removed the case out of local to federal. They scored a little victory there. Of course, Michael Irvin's lawyer very, very intelligently dismissed the case and then refiled it down in Arizona after it was removed from Texas. Now, they really can't do much about that in that case because they are suing people that are in Arizona. Okay, so that was a smart move. This is a smart move by Pat McAfee's attorney because he gets away from any potential home cooking in this defamation case. And the one thing I've always heard, defamation is very hard to prove. Okay, so basically Pat McAfee does the same thing we do. I mean, look, he's not really a journalist. He just talks about whatever the latest sports story is. I still don't get this. But anyway, this is Florio, and he's a lawyer, so he's going to add a couple of 2 cents in this article. During Super Bowl week, news emerged that Hall of Fame quarterback Brett Favre had sued broadcasters and former NFL players, Pat McAfee and Shannon Sharpe, and Mississippi auditor Shad White for defamation in connection with the ongoing Mississippi welfare fraud scandal. It appears that Favre sued each of them separately. The case against McAfee was filed in Lamar County, Mississippi, via sports and betting lawyer Daniel Wallach. McAfee removed the case from state court to federal court on Friday. It was the only play by McAfee, given that Favre is a Mississippi native who lives in Lamar County. Home cooking exists in state courts. Absolutely it does. When it comes to defendants who don't live in that state. For that reason, federal law allows cases filed in state court against out-of-state defendants to be removed to federal court. And the plaintiff is seeking more than $75,000, where the judges are appointed for life and not part of the local political scene. Although Favre's lawsuit doesn't make a specific demand in dollars, the filing includes quotes from Favre's lawyer regarding the value of the case. Quote, well, I guarantee you the jury in Mississippi will make certain he learns how to apologize, Eric Hirschman said regarding McAfee. It's going to cost Pat McAfee millions of dollars, and if it bankrupts him, then he will have learned his lesson. As we previously opined, Favre is one who may learn his lesson here. McAfee's statements, while perhaps technically on the wrong side of the line, seem to be consistent with widespread conclusions many have reached regarding Favre, based on facts that have emerged in connection with Mississippi's welfare scandal. Far more importantly for Favre will be proving that his reputation was damaged by McAfee's statements. To that, Favre's pre-existing reputation becomes relevant because there's no way to determine whether it harmed without establishing where it actually was. This gives McAfee's lawyers license to delve into the nooks and crannies of any and everything Favre has ever done, including but not limited to certain alleged escapades involving a co-worker, a camera, and Crocs. Yikes. Yikes. He's talking about the D pick that emerged when Favre, I believe, was with the Jets. And because the truth is always a defense to any defamation case, McAfee's lawyers now have an avenue for investigating whether and to what extent Favre knew that money he received from Mississippi was coming from funds meant for welfare recipients. Anything Favre says in that case can and will be used against him if he's ever accused of criminal wrongdoing by the state or federal authorities. Finally, Hirschman's habit of talking tough about cases continues to be curious, to say the least. While it's a matter of individual lawyer style, I learned during 19 years of practice that no one knows how any case is going to play out in court until it does. There are too many unexpected twists, turns, too many potential issues with whether and to what extent witnesses might fold under questioning. Too many variables, both tangible and intangible, that will influence whether the randomly selected jury agrees or disagrees with the position a given party is espousing. The best play, in my experience, is to work the case quietly, build it diligently, and then let the evidence do the talking and hopefully let the jury do the shouting. In this case, it's a long way from trial. So, there you go. But again, I find it odd because, when the case broke, everybody talked about it. I mean, everybody. It was on every single media entity and or podcaster and or commentator that I listen to, which is quite a few. They all talked about this case. It's very strange that these were the two guys that they zeroed in on. I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't know if Pat McAfee's did a couple of videos on this and that particular podcast blew up, but all of his episodes get views. So I don't know. I know that Favre, his bunch, told McAfee to remove any Brett Favre videos that he did. And essentially, for lack of a better way of putting it, McAfee went back to Favre and said, go pound sand and kick rocks. And next thing you know, he's getting sued. And then Pat McAfee went on his podcast and said, I don't have a lawyer, but let's rock. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes. We'll definitely keep one eye on it. But now McAfee's done the thing he should, which is pull it out of local court. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.